So since the invasion of Ukraine kicked off several weeks ago, public officials in this country have pledged allegiance to Ukraine. Okay, everyone feels sad for the Ukrainian people. They legitimately are suffering because of the Russian invasion. But the way they've been touting their love of Ukraine tells you a lot. So the head of the country's largest teachers union, Randy Weingarten, posed with this Ukrainian flag without realizing the flag is upside down. She stands with Ukraine, but doesn't know what the flag looks like. Now, why are they doing this? Well, they want you to know they're willing to sacrifice for Ukraine, which is very far away. They could not find it on a map, but they don't actually have to do anything. And that's the beauty of loving people you'll never meet. Alexander Vindman is pretty explicit about this every time he goes on television. Watch this.
And we could do something to help bring it to an end before it escalates, and we're not doing that. They need more in order to avoid catastrophic civilian casualties. And that's in the form of these jets. That's in the form of unmanned combat aerial vehicles. We lost the momentum. There was an opportunity to do this. And it's because we're risk averse. We still think there's a chance that this goes back to business as usual, where in fact, in a Cold War, we're headed towards a hard war. I tended to kind of lean in and talk about what more we need to do from the provision of weapons standpoint, because I don't think we're doing nearly enough.
That's a little weird to see that. So Vindman is from Ukraine. The guy in the box next to him, Max Boot, is from Russia. They're both born in those countries, and yet they aren't over there fighting in their homelands, which is a little bit weird. I guess it's just easier to do your fighting from a cable news box stateside. Eddie Scarry has been following all of this. He's a columnist at The Federalist, just published its own piece on virtue signaling over the war in Ukraine. He joins us tonight. Eddie, thanks so much for coming on. Are we imagining this, or a lot of people sort of expanding their moral profile at the expense of an actual country called Ukraine?
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. The left has completely trivialized this conflict, turned it into a complete joke, all for the sake of getting clout on social media. And when I say the left, I do mean the media, celebrities, corporations. You look at the New York Times, David Brooks. You look at the Washington Post, Kathleen Parker. They're beside themselves emotionally about seeing Ukrainian President Zelensky in a T-shirt. They talk about this in terms of democracy and freedom and how it's our duty to protect freedom. And again, major corporations as well, like places like Uber. They say you open the app, you just want to get down the block to a party. They say donate to Ukraine. I think they're offering free rides to Kiev at this point. Places like another app, Market Fresh, you want to buy flowers. They say round up and donate to Ukraine. But just as you said at the intro of this segment, it costs them nothing. They expect nothing. And that's the point of virtue signaling, is that you get to feel good about yourself. You get to say how great you are because you care about this conflict. You care about the people, how noble you are. And yet it costs you nothing. But it is going to cost somebody something, because we're teetering on the edge of World War III. And yet it's not going to be the ones, they're not going to be the ones, the Vindmans, the Kathleen Parkers, the David Brooks. They're not going to have to give anything about this. It's going to be you. It's going to be your viewers, their children, their nieces and nephews. They're going to be the ones they expect to be sacrificed.
You'd think one of these people would say, wait a second, they told me to be mad about George Floyd's death and white supremacy. Then they told me to be mad about anti-vaxxers. Now they're telling me to be mad about Putin. Like, if you're letting the oligarchs control your emotions, maybe you're not an independent person. Maybe you're like a puppet. Does think anyone ever thinks that?
Well, that's right. I mean, issue after issue, virtue signaling is the way the left likes to operate right now. Yeah. Same thing with the Black Lives Matter. Post a black square on Instagram and you're in good company. They're doing this now with something that we're teetering again on the edge of World War III with a nuclear power.
And they don't know anything about it. It's just so funny. Like, on a dime, I'm no longer mad about anti-vaxxers. I'm mad about whatever in Eastern Europe. It's unbelievable. Eddie Scarry, great to see you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.